When that great food producer of the 20th century, the United States of America, someday leaves the chemical-laden, soil-destroying monoculture, then farms will look much as this one does. Sunnyside Farm in Northern Virginia.
Interesting ways.
He is a California pioneer in organics, and no, you're not on the wrong program. This is the vegetable farmer on his surfboard, of course.
Don't worry about stepping on anything. At this point, you can't hurt anything.
I'll know if I land on a big squat.
Phil McGrath, a surfer, and Suzanne Goen, a rocket among young chefs. They're up next on Chefs Afield. The mushroom is neither plant nor animal, but has its own kingdom. The realm of the dark, but not too damp, deep forest. Ever tasted a mushroom before? There's nothing like a wild one. The taste of the trees and the wind and the forest, all in a tiny gem. She's a Jersey cow and therefore agreeable, adorable, and gives milk that is rich, nourishing, and sweeter than any cow's milk. With talent and patience, you can team up with nature, make that milk into incomparable cheese. The chef goes for taste. That's the chef right there in the little boat, using the fishing pole to go for the wild taste of Alaskan salmon. You get your little fishing hole, you get just the right spot, your boat, your gear are all set, the weather's perfect, the fish are biting, and look who shows up. Another angler. Just has to bust right in on you and show the offspring how it's done. Yep, wild Alaska salmon. That's up next on Chefs Afield.
And these are some beautiful sugar woods here.
Well, thank you.
Let's go for a hike. It's snowing out, but it's not too deep yet. It's not too cold out. It's springtime in Vermont. We can taste the clear water that's flowing through the sugar woods. The sugar woods, where the sugar maple grows and gives up its sweet liquid. If our tootsies do get cold, well, they'll just step inside by the roaring fire, where the cauldron is being stirred to make the sauce for pizza, American flatbread, sauced with generous portions of pure Vermont maple syrup. It is sunrise. Do you know where your farmer is?
Looks like they're kind of getting hungry. You got time to help me move them into another pasture?
Sure, I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
Tell me what to do.
Well, we'll just kind of get up here and get everything kind of moving in the right direction and see if we can't put them through a gate.
All right, excellent.
For Wayne Langston, the true cattleman has his eyes not on a balance sheet, but on the ground.
A good rancher spends as much time looking at the ground and looking at the grass as he does his cattle, because that's where his livelihood is really coming from, is coming out of the ground. And any rancher that is a good steward of the land takes as good a care of the land as he does of the cows. It's necessary. We're probably some of the most fortunate people in the world out here. We get to be out here, we get to be doing what we love, we get to be doing what we've grown up doing. I honestly feel like I've never had a job in my life. I'm doing exactly what I love to do. A lot of people aren't that fortunate.
So what we're fishing for right here is a great example of how fish rebound.
Of how a management plan, if done correctly, works.
That's
simple.
Right. That's why we can do this with a conscience.
All right,
Recipes! Oh, baby! Get in the boat.
Now that's a fish, Mike. That's a fish.
That's a keeper.
That's a big keeper.
It's like 17, 18 pounds. 35 inches, probably 16, 17 pounds, 18 pounds.
It's a beautiful one. Look at that.
Beautiful fish, isn't it? To have it
How
for
would you
dinner,
how would you cook that baby
I would
up?
fillet the guy, take the fillet off him, cut them in portions for size to eat.
Skin on, skin off.
Skin off. Oh, actually, scales off, skin on.
Right, exactly. That's the way I like
Then
it.
I would take and I put them in some Italian dressing.
Uh-huh.
Some good stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And let it marinate for 8 hours, or you make your own. Same thing with the oil and on herbs and all that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then I would take and I would put them on a grill, hot grill, skin side down first.
Yeah. See, we're a little fancier, you know,
Okay.
what we do. But it's really all simple stuff as well. The less you do with it, the more integrity of the actual flavor of the fish you're going to maintain, you know?
Now, what about growing strawberries organically? Because I've heard that they're one of the things, because there's so much water in them or whatever, that they're actually a really bad thing to eat conventionally, more than other things.
They are almost
Strawberries and peanuts.
absorbent.
Yeah.
They will actually take in the chemicals.
Wow.
And to all my friends out there that grow conventional strawberries, and you know who you are, nothing against you. No, if you really are mindful in that way, you really should be only eating organic strawberries.
And are they harder to grow organically than other things? Or it's not that bad?
Well, you don't get the same yields, and obviously you might have more problems with mold or bugs. But,
looks like you figured it out.
well, the price sure helps.
When he's loaded up with produce, all the greens and the boxes of berries, plus that carton of egginess and the precious tomatoes, Peter Hoffman is then on his way to his kitchen at Savoy, a restaurant that one New York food writer called the most welcoming in the city.
I think what's key for all chefs and all good cooking is starting with great ingredients. We have probably 50 purveyors. It's a almost arcane process because of our commitment to getting the best product. A efficiency analyst would come into the restaurant and say, you guys are working way too hard.
When you can smell it and you can see, you know, hey, here's the little berry and the middle-sized berry, the nice plump one that's ready to eat. And then, you know, you can say, well, I don't know what a Waldo berry is, or a Miriam berry, or a boysenberry, or a raspberry. So they, that's okay. And I can go over and try this one here. And then, you know, that's an experience.
That's something that occurred to me when I opened Wildwood about 7 years ago, and I came back mainly here in Oregon, where it really kind of all of a sudden registered that I would go out and ask somebody how their meal was, and they would say, gosh, you know, the berry cobbler was really good. And then all of a sudden I realized, wait a minute, they said the berry was really good. I mean, certainly there was preparation, and then our pastry chef got involved, and there was a dough, but I heard that over and over. It was that, hey, the zucchini was really good, the beans were really good, and they were always pointing at the product.
Organic farmers, as we have seen, they really put a lot of work in the soil. And it's the soil that's full of microorganisms and energy and life. And whatever you grow in that soil will have life too. And we all have to eat. We all have to eat, we have all to drink, and we all have to breathe. So why not eat food that gives us energy and life and doesn't give us terrible pesticides?
We're going to add some sake to this. Now, traditionally, I would go ahead and throw these mussels in, but I got a trick up my sleeve. I've got a good charcoal fire going, so I'm going to roast these on the wood fire for a second. That'll give a little char, a little smoke flavor, add just another little element to our dish. Just throw them right on the grill. And if you ever used a hot wok before, this is kind of the same idea. Just do a couple.
We light a little bit of Calvados or apple brandy, which is a little hard to see in this light. Then we just, without burning ourselves completely up, we sprinkle the flames over the apple tart. And suddenly we think it's 1958 again, and we're living high. So, with the flaming tart, then we'll put a little scoop of vanilla ice cream in the center, and that will sort of melt and create a kind of sauce. So you have this wonderful apple flavor